Hi Rio, this is David, and now I'm going to take a look at your Love Actually video, which I'm very excited to see because I love the movie Love Actually. It's especially fun to watch in the wintertime because it's a beautiful Christmas story. Let's check out what you have to say.
Okay, I will present lessons from the movie Love Actually. This movie made me reconsider about love so much. Especially it made me reconsider love I had ever experienced. When I recollect about my love, there were a lot of regret. For example,
I'm sorry to hear that you have so many regrets, but I really like your phrase, when I recollect about love. Recollect is a very good, not so high English frequency word. I mean, we use it, but not as much as remember or think about. So that's an excellent usage on your part.
there's a classmate I had loved. I hesitated to tell her I love you when I analyzed I love you. When I analyzed that situation, I didn't do any efforts to approach her, so I didn't feel any confidence to tell her I love you. Also, I was frightened that she would reject it against my confession. From this lesson, I learned that I need to do my best efforts to raise my confidence.
I agree that it is a very difficult thing for a man to say "I love you" to a woman. Um, uh, I believe Japan has the reputation as being a patriarchal leaning society where um, men run a lot of the society in some ways, but there's also, along with that, an image that men should be, if not macho, a little bit strong in some situations. And I'm not saying that this is entirely true. This is just my image of the situation. And in America, there is a similar situation. Men will fear that if they say "I love you" to a woman too soon, uh, it will push her away. She will think that the man is needy or is weak in some way. There are many instances in American comedies of this being a problem in romantic situations. Big Bang Theory comes to mind. There's a running storyline that the young man Leonard loves the young woman Penny, and he has made some mistakes in the relationship, and one of those mistakes was telling her that he loved her too soon, and this actually put a great strain on the relationship. And this can happen in real life, but in a way, I think it is a bad uh, a bad example for people because it teaches men to be more concerned about making mistakes, whereas perhaps they should just be concerned about being honest in their relationships.
I received so many lessons from the movie. There are some situations related to love in this movie. Uh, my my most favorite scene is that scene of the photo. I was very impressed. This scene is that Mark told Juliet that he loves her by message paper in the list on Christmas song.
This scene is very powerful and interesting, and it has been parodied uh, on American television um, because it is such a powerful scene. I have some mixed feelings about this scene because this man is supposed to be the best friend of this woman. So it's quite troublesome. In a way, he is betraying his friend in this cute little scene. And in Western culture, some people say that love is the most important thing of all, and that you should pursue it in spite of anything else. And if this is taken as him pursuing her and not just explaining, if he's just explaining and saying that he doesn't want to get with her at all, he just wants to explain his inner feelings, then maybe it's not a betrayal. But if in his mind there's some idea that she might leave her husband, his best friend, to be with him, this would be a serious betrayal of his friendship. And sometimes when people criticize Western culture, American culture specifically, they will say that some people use love as an excuse for doing really bad things. People will cheat on their lovers or leave their lovers or leave their families, and their excuse will be, well, I found my true love, and this was what was meant to be. It is what the universe wanted. And sometimes people from other perspectives think that that is a very selfish way to act. And of course, this kind of thing happens in Japan. You see all the time about pop stars and movie stars getting divorced because they're having affairs or whatever. But in America, in Western culture, and America specifically, sometimes I see people using this as an excuse, and there are whole television programs based on, people like doing some pretty bad things and justifying their behavior by saying, well, it was because of love, or it was because they found the better love, or the true love, or the real love. And some people will say that this is just they're making an excuse for bad behavior. It all depends. But this was a very beautiful scene. And maybe it's the only way he could have done this, because it would have destroyed his friendship, perhaps, if he had told his friend that he loved her, or if he told them together that he loved her. So maybe he just wants to do this to say goodbye. But I always kind of wondered if there was a little bit of a danger to this situation. Though I agree with you totally. It's a beautiful scene, and a very well-written and clever scene.
I was impressed because the way he told her he loves her is very originalistic, and he gathered the courage to say I love you. Also, the best thing I learned from the part of the movie is that Daniel told the phrase Daniel told his son. The phrase is that you've got nothing to lose and you always regret it if you don't. I have some experiences, including love I didn't try. From this lesson, I will try everything and spend my efforts to them from now on. Thank you.
Rio, that was a very good video, very impressive. I'm glad that this movie had such a positive impact on you, and I hope that it helps you find love and happiness. I also was very impressed with the friendship between the father and son. One of the things that I liked best about Love Actually was that it looked at many faces of love. The love of man and a woman, the love of friends, the love of father and son, mother and son, brother and sister. I'm not sure if it had very much to say about gay couples. It's been a while since I've watched it. I don't think it did, but it cannot address every topic in the world. As it was already a very full movie. But you did a great job, and I like how you moved through your images much slower in this video than you did in the earlier video that you made. So very good job, and I look forward to seeing you soon. And thank you for sending me this video. I really appreciate it. Bye-bye. Hi, Rio. Thank you again for your wonderful presentation and for allowing me to put it on my Vuncular Monchichi Facebook page and to use it with my students in the future. That's really wonderful. It's going to be very useful as a learning tool for my students. I just wanted to tell you a little bit more about Love Actually because you seem to love the movie so much. I wanted to tell you about two inside jokes. An inside joke is a joke between two people or two groups who know some facts that people on the outside might not know. So if you've never seen another English movie and you didn't know any of the actors or the writer-director of this movie, you could watch this movie and enjoy it very much. But if you do know a lot about other movies, you might notice some jokes that make you enjoy it even more. One of the jokes is about the music. The character Billy Mack, the rock and roll star, played by Bill Nye, sings a song in this movie, and it was his hit in the past, but in the present days he hasn't had many big hits, so producers have convinced him to change it into a Christmas song, and he thinks it's a terrible idea. He thinks it is really cynical and selling out. And the reason this is a joke is that the song that he sings was actually the theme song of another movie, which was written by the same person, and I think directed by the same person who made Love Actually. And that movie is called Four Weddings and a Funeral. And that was from 1994, so many years before. And it also starred Hugh Grant. You might recognize Hugh Grant. He played the Prime Minister. This was one of his first big movies that made him into an international movie star. And later he played a smaller role, the Prime Minister. But they were both in this... He was in both of these movies, and these movies are connected by this song. In this movie, it is just played, and we appreciate the music. In Love Actually, the song is actually kind of a character in its own right. And people who hear it are like, oh my gosh, that's the same song from Four Weddings and a Funeral. So that is one connection. Another connection is the loving father that you talk about and like so much, and I liked so much as well. Daniel, who's played by Liam Neeson. He has a son, Sam, played by Thomas Brody Sangster. I guess in the movie he was still very young, and he was billed or credited simply as Thomas Sangster. Maybe he changed his name in some way since the movie. But this father and son, Daniel and Sam, have a very honest relationship. And part of the honest relationship is having a kind of joking rapport with each other. And a joke that the father makes is that the son is welcome to stay unless the father has the good fortune of getting a girlfriend, a specific girlfriend. If he can get a dream girl, Claudia Schiffer, then the boy will have to move out because they will want to have private time together, and the boy will no longer be welcome. It sounds like a terrible thing to say, but it's a joke. And it's especially a joke because it's not very likely that the ordinary man living in Britain would meet and fall in love with the German supermodel who was considered kind of a dream girl. She was thought to be one of the most beautiful women in the world, and she was a big international star. Of course he won't meet her. So it would be like, you telling someone that you are going, if you meet and fall in love with Miley Cyrus, or a better one would be Taylor Swift. You say you're going to meet and fall in love with Taylor Swift, and if you meet and fall in love with Taylor Swift, then you will do your homework. So of course, you're telling me you're not going to do your homework because you're not going to meet and fall in love with Taylor Swift, most likely. But the joke is, he said that he will have the girlfriend of Claudia Schiff, and then along comes the character Carol, who is the mother of a very minor character, Tommy, who is a friend of Sam. And the joke is that Carol is played by Claudia Schiffer. So they're joking about Claudia Schiffer. Maybe the father, Daniel, will fall in love with Claudia Schiffer, and then along comes Carol, and you see Carol is actually really Claudia Schiffer. So those are two jokes, the joke about the song and the joke about the supermodel as a potential girlfriend. Let me see, song from Four Weddings and a Funeral. What is it called? These are all really good songs. Love Is All Around. So it's actually an old song from 1967. I did not realize that. But if you look at... So it wasn't quite 10 years apart, I think. I think Four Weddings and the Funeral was 1994, and then 2003. Almost 10 years between the two movies. And... What do you mean? So Internet Movie Database told me they couldn't find the soundtrack, but if I look another way under soundtracks, they have it. So Christmas All Around is just a variation on Love Is All Around. Do they even list Love Is All Around? They don't even list it as being in the movie, but it really is. And it's sung by the same guy, I believe, the same singer who sang it originally from 1967. Anyways, this extra video went way too long, but it's a little bit more listening practice for you, and I hope you enjoy it and that it helps you have a deeper understanding and appreciation of Love Actually. I'm sure there are more jokes in there. There's at least one other joke I can think of with an actor, but I'll maybe explain that later in another video.